Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast, another episode of the podcast. And today, actually, I want to talk about some behind the scenes stuff, maybe in my life and how it's working out and stuff. But first, I do want to give a quick update on the, Nightwave, the whole Nightwave issue with, for those of you that don't know, Nightwave is actually a new ish alert type system. Let's call it Alert 2.0. I really have personal qualms with really calling it Alert 2.0. I think it might be better off being its own system, but for now, it's Alert 2.0. Well, what I have to say about it is that DE actually, they posted in the forums actually saying that they're open to feedback. They've already listened to some feedback things about the whole too long of survival missions, having to do the missions with a friend. They've actually already commented on that. So that's one of the things that they are listening to feedback, and that's good. To any other developer that may be listening, this is how you make a constantly going game. Warframe has been going for a while. I mean, going strong for a while. It had moments of time, of course, where it dipped a little low, but for the most part, it's been going strong for 6 years. 6 years. You know how crazy that is to get so many people interested in the game for 6 years? Well, anyway, so I just wanted to update you guys about that whole Nightwave situation. So feel free to go on the forums, give your feedback on Nightwave, what you think of it. They're accepting more feedback so they can make Series 2 or Season 2 better for everyone. Now, and I've already given my feedback a bunch throughout everything, so I will, yeah. Let's move on, shall we? Okay. So, behind the scenes, let's talk about my behind the scenes. Okay, so in case you guys were wondering, I am by myself doing this stuff. I make my own thumbnails, I edit my own videos, I upload my own videos, all that jazz. So, I guess you could say I'm my own production crew and everything right now, which is good. It's fine. It's because I feel like it gives me more control. But at the same time, I've had to sort of, I guess my sleep schedule gets lost a lot because of the fact that I have to either go on YouTube or go on some other sites out there to, learn how to make better thumbnails or learn how to edit videos better. I gotta do all that stuff myself, which, I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of work. And I've just stepped up in my opinion, thumbnail game. If you want to check that out, yes, I'm going to do a shameless self-promotion. It's at YouTube. The name will be Vamp Plays, VAMP space PLAYS. That's the name of the channel. Well, anyway, I've been upping my thumbnail game for that. The channel, it's kind of, okay, so it's not your plain average reviews. It's more of a review slash first impressions. I like to walk through the first, 20 to 40 minutes of the game with you guys and see if it's, worth a play in the future or worth a purchase in the future for you guys. If you guys are interested in it, or if you guys are so uninterested in it and whatnot. So I'll be honest, it's taking a little bit to pick up. I estimated that it would be picking up a lot quicker than it is, but that's how the business works sometimes. Rome wasn't built in the day. You gotta keep trying. And it's easy to get discouraged when you're making videos, be it my main channel, which, Warframe Madness channel, or be it the Vamp channel. And as you guys know, I do stream as well. Streaming is a whole different animal, considering, yes, essentially you're making content just like the podcast, for example, just like YouTube, just like, everywhere else, your social media. I guess you could technically make content on other social medias as well. But the thing about streaming is usually you're not really expected, but it's kind of implied that you're going to be streaming something for at least an hour plus. You're going to be streaming something. And then it's also live. So anything you say, you can't fix in post-editing or anything like that. It's completely live, which, sometimes that can be like, every now and then, if I'm not feeling up to par, I might just, say, oh, I'm going to cancel the stream, and then rest. But I'll make a YouTube video or two for my YouTube channels. I know you're thinking, but Vamp, why would you rather make that? Well, the thing is because of the fact that, like I was saying, sometimes it's just more relaxing to casually make a video. Not that it's unrelaxing per se to stream and whatnot, but there's amount of setup that goes into that. You can't be like super grumpy, yell at everyone that comes through your stream. You gotta make sure you have chat opened up so you can, read all the comments and comment back accordingly. You guys stay active, stay talking. No one wants to watch a super silent all the time stream. Funny thing is that I almost didn't make this podcast because someone told me that they use my stream as basically a podcast anyway. So I was like, yeah, maybe I don't need a podcast. But you know what? I think I'm glad I made a podcast over all this. Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, this will help either a little or a lot, I'm not sure. And yeah, that's not really it for my business per se, or rather, I guess this is the business overall. But that is my, I guess, ambitions, I guess you could say. It's not really my goals per se. It's more my ambitions, which are, I am trying. Okay, so as you know, I have Warframe Madness. That podcast, of course, evolved from that YouTube channel. And I am quite happy about it, honestly. I am very happy about that podcast. I picture this podcast as with my other stuff. I want to work hard at it, make it good. But unfortunately, it's only me, so sometimes certain things do get left in the dust or fall behind and whatnot. Which, sucks, but It happens. It happens. Now, I know me and spoiler alert, me and a friend are probably going to be starting another podcast soon-ish. It's a little more complicated because the friend in question doesn't live in my general area, so we gotta figure out some awesome long distance setup. And unfortunately, that requires internet to behave, good internet, both to have super good mics and stuff. So that's a lot of preparation into that. So yeah, that is in the works. I'm only able to start this podcast right now because of the fact that I actually happen to have, other stuff I need. I have, the mic. I already use it for recording content on YouTube, streaming on Twitch. So, the only next natural step is to also have a podcast. And the biggest reason I even created this podcast was so that I could talk about stuff that, I don't want to make like hundreds of YouTube videos spamming my followers' inboxes and stuff with, hey, I feel this way about this, but let me make another video because I feel this way about this as well. And I don't want to make another YouTube channel dedicated to a certain subject within a subject. Because right now, Warframe is a game, it's a niche within a niche per se. It's a video game, which is the main niche. Then the sub niche would be Warframe. Basically, a niche, in case you didn't know, is actually a topic, like what your channel is on, what your site's on, what your channel is about, just that niche, what your podcast is about. This podcast is generally about, Warframe itself. Just like my channel is about Warframe itself. But this is a podcast, so I feel like I have some extra wiggle room than I normally would have. And in addition to that, if that is not enough, I actually, what was I going to say? I totally lost it. Okay, if that wasn't enough, this podcast, for example, is going way out there. I'm able to actually, talk about the business. Yeah, again, I know, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting a lot distracted. I should look away from the computer, but I can't because of the fact that I'm about to go into the next segment, which this was not a segue at all. Okay, so as you guys know, I like to look at comments throughout the week on my Warframe Madness YouTube channel, and and see the stuff. And let's see. I gotta delete this comment because that's another important thing, that you do get comments. Not everyone is going to be a positive love. Everything. The more popular a certain video is, the more of a chance you'll have someone come in and leave some super rude comment. So, but, I'm going to talk about some of the videos right here. Okay, so the update on PC actually came out not too long ago, earlier this week actually. And I would have to say that, let's see, the first comment was, can't wait for this to come to PS4, which I'm a PS4 main, so I resonated with that comment immediately. Hearted it, commented back right away, yep, all that jazz. On that same video, because that was me explaining the PC update, what it included, Play Warframe also commented, saying how they liked that they're happy that I'm happy with the update on PC, basically. That's only worth mentioning because, well, I think that's worth mentioning because I always secretly get happy whenever, I'm always happy whenever I receive comments, period. But since it's a Warframe channel, when Play Warframe actually comments on my video, I get super, super hyped up. I don't know what it's about. I also get the same amount of hyped up when people are very supportive on my comments, which they are a lot. Let's see. I then talked a bit about something mods. They're the new mods that PC already had console is getting thin. About how I liked that the mods actually had different effects and everything. Fun fact is, this video that I'm talking about, not everyone knows, but that was actually a backdoor into the podcast. Yeah, it was kind of like a backdoor pilot episode. You know how TV shows do backdoor pilot episodes? Well, this was like a backdoor pilot episode because it actually made me sort of, I guess, potentially think about doing a podcast because I did actually call it podcast format on that video because it was just a still image and me talking. So I encourage people to even go as far as listening in the background, listening to me in the background doing other stuff and whatnot. So then it got me thinking, why not make a podcast? And that's actually how this came to be. So I then made a video which, in case you're wondering, Agamon, whatever they're called, mods, we are going to talk about in a future podcast because, like I said, I'm a PS4 main. We haven't got them yet on PS4, and it will be exciting for me to actually use them, see how they are, see what's up with them. And now, speaking of the podcast, I made a video about the podcast. So, let's see. And again, my community, very supportive. Some have mentioned how, they would like to be able to listen, like that they can listen to a podcast in the background rather. And I found that very supportive, and I'm glad people seem to like it. Because, I do a lot of gameplay videos, which gameplay is good, build is good, but having a podcast, I feel like I can just, actually chat about certain comments, about certain topics, whatever. I'm not just kind of not per se limited, but again, I don't want to be too spammy to people's inboxes. So, the next step was this. Chances are, if I kept making these kind of videos, on my YouTube channel, people would be like, dude, why don't you just have your own podcast? So, hey, I have my own podcast now. And then there's the fact that the Nintendo Switch got its first pack. Now, in case you're wondering what I mean, each platform has its own exclusive skins. Let's see, PS4 has Renown packs, which include the Obsidian skin. Xbox One had the Jade packs, which of course include the Jade skin. Now the Switch, Nintendo Switch, had their own pack called a Steam pack, which includes, their new, I forget what it's called, but their new armor, whatever it's called. I did a video covering that, and people seemed to like the pack in general, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that the Switch had its own pack as well. And I know what you're thinking, but Vamp, how did you cover the thing? You're not a Switch. I have a Switch account as well. I'm a PS4 main. I get on the Switch and the PC from time to time as well. So, having all three of those platforms, I'll be honest, I get on PS4 rather, more than anything, but it's good to have options, and I do get on Switch and PC sometimes so I can play with a lot of my viewers that watch my stream and whatnot, and just play with my community, have a blast. Another shameless self-promotion, twitch.tv/vamp6x6x6x. And I actually think I'm going to end the podcast here. I think that's just about everything. We talked about kind of the business, as it were, the behind the scenes of it all, the magic, the how I do stuff. Because as I said at the beginning, I do all my video editing and rendering, of course. Rendering is part of editing, and depending on your computer and what you add or take away from the video, it can be longer, shorter, whatever. I make my own thumbnails. Recently have been trying to step up my thumbnail game as well, because thumbnails are supposed to be reflectant of what type of video your video is. I mean, you could have super amazing content, but if the thumbnail isn't real good, then you're not going to get as many clicks on it as you would like. Now, the exception to this is if you already have a dedicated community that will click on your videos, and then you'll get kind of a snowball effect type thing. Your videos, if they have more views and stuff, they get seen more because, yeah. And with that said, I think I'm going to end the video here. I said video, I meant podcast. I did almost say stream as well. I have a lot of stuff going on. Okay, guys, later.